This is Shelley Kraft. We are coming to you live on SNN Live. We're at the 9th Annual Silver Summit Conference in the Davenport Hotel in lovely downtown Spokane, Washington. Mr. David Morgan is standing next to me of The Morgan Report. He's a featured speaker and a panel member. And let me tell you, he can fill a room. Welcome to SNN Live.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you.
Thank you.
We're at a silver conference. You're getting asked, and you're speaking on silver this, silver that. Well, our investors want to know. So tell us, what's going on in silver?
Well, silver has been volatile. It always has been. In the last year, 2011, we've seen it as high as almost $50 the ounce. It's retreated around 33, consolidated, and moved up into the $40 level. And recently, when gold got slammed from the $1,900 level, we saw silver fall down and actually touch a few trades around 26. I think that's probably the bottom for silver, but I can't rule out the fact that it may go lower. I really doubt it. One thing I do want to make clear is I think it's going to take a few more months to build a base and come back up. I'm looking for $40 silver by about the end of this year.
You know, a couple of months in the greater scheme of things. I mean, silver laid at a low price for years, and then all of a sudden it started to pick up. Why do you think it came alive so quickly, ran pretty quick for silver, and now it's leveled off?
Well, like any market, it goes up and down. All markets go from undervalued to fair value to overvalued. I still think silver is undervalued relative to gold and undervalued to the amount of currency printing that world governments have performed. Nonetheless, it's certainly not a $5 bargain that it was, say, in the 2000s or the early 2000s, where on an inflation-adjusted basis, it was the lowest price it had ever been in history. Now we're in a level that I wouldn't say fair valued, but $30 silver is a far cry from $4. So I would expect, again, that it's going to build a base and come higher. My ultimate target as a minimum is 100 US, but I don't really like to put numbers on it. I like to give the idea that it's got further to go than where it is right now.
Well, gold is trading at, spikes. So why didn't silver follow?
Silver actually led. There was a spike from about from the $20 level to 26. Then it leveled out slightly. Then QE2 was announced. Silver roughly doubled on the QE2 announcement from 25 to almost 50. It spiked. And up until May 1st of this year. Gold actually didn't do a spike until recently. So you could make a strong argument that silver spiked first and then gold spiked.
That's a good point. So now, where are you going from here?
I'm going home from here. I live here in Spokane. But I think that the silver market, again, I think the best place if you're new is to look at the mining equities and be patient. A lot of these miners are very, very undervalued. Some of them are selling for prices that are equivalent to the silver price of 2003 to 2005. And so you're buying a real bargain if you do your homework. This is an area that investors really are not paying attention to that they should be.
And what's your recommendation to companies that are in the silver exploration business, which many of these companies here at this conference are?
We have a lot of producers as well as exploration companies, you're correct. And it's to continue, to use their capital wisely, understand that the dynamics of the market. There really isn't a lot that I can tell them. I mean, most of these people that are at this conference are very savvy in the mining industry. I'm quite happy with the turnout this year, and of course, this is one of my inventions, you might say. I actually talked about having a silver-only summit. About 9 years ago, we had the first one. It was a rather minor event from the aspect of not a lot of people, but the quality was phenomenal. We had them from Ecuador, France, Belgium, New Zealand, Australia, South America. So that 112 people, the first silver summit, was global in scope.
And it's continued, and 9 years later, this is very impressive, I have to tell you. Don't you agree?
Thank you. Yes, I agree totally. I mean, this is, as far as I'm concerned, the premier silver event on the planet. I don't know of anything bigger or more widely followed than this particular venue.
You know what? I'd have to agree. What is your background?
Well, my background is a metals head for a very, very long time. I started self-study in the precious metals around my early 20s. I worked in the aircraft industry for a brief time. Business and finance have been my passion, but after learning how the banking system actually works and fractional reserve banking and all of that at a very early age, I was prone to honest money and the gold and silver story from really my early 20s, and I've followed that passion to where it's led me today. So in that course of time, I founded the website. I've done consulting. I've worked with hedge fund companies, bullion banks, mints, bullion dealers, you name it. Anything to do with precious metals or precious metals financing, mining, that type of thing. So kind of soup to nuts. I'm pretty much a top-down analyst looking at silver as a commodity all the way down to some of the smaller exploration mining stocks.
And tell me about the Morgan Report, and give a website, because I know that our investor listeners, viewers, they want to hear about you. And in the States, we're far behind the Canadians. So, our audience is largely North America, particularly in the United States, although we're global. But I think if we can give your website out, this is something they'd like to know more about.
Sure. It's a website business, or an internet-based business, and the easiest way to get there is themorganreport.com. Just one URL, themorganreport.com. Type that in, or if you can't remember that, type in David Morgan Silver in any search engine like Google. You'll pop up my site right at the top.
And how often is it published?
The basic service is published once a month. The advanced services are one to look over my shoulder. That one is as I see fit, which is usually a couple times a month. So with the basic service, you're getting like 3 or 4 things per month. And then the very advanced service for like hedge funds or very large capitalized individuals, that one is a private webinar that I do on a monthly basis as well.
And what we recommend is, to do your research, if you're an investor for sure, and go to conferences, meet the companies, meet the analysts, listen to the research report, in live. So I think it's a good idea that we get the Morgan Report out to our viewers.
Right.
So I want to thank you very much for coming on to SNN Live. And to have you is my pleasure, and I want to thank you for coming on.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.